Hey guys, Ginger here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about all of the books that I read in September. So September wasn't a bad reading month. I ended up reading 10 things in total, so pretty good in my opinion. And I also started one other book that I didn't finish, but I don't know if I'm going to DNF it, so I'll just mention it briefly here because, like I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to it again. But I read over 3,000 pages, probably, I think about 3,700 pages, so pretty freaking good in my opinion. And I had a wide spectrum of ratings. I had a 1 star and then up to a couple 5 stars. So we had a 1 star, a 2 star, a 2.5 star, a 3 star, I think 3 4 stars, 1 4.5 star, and 2 5 stars. So we had a little bit of everything this past month. And then my genres, we had 1 graphic novel, 4 contemporary fantasies, 1 fantasy, and 4 contemporaries. So it was not really like a big mix of things, but I still read a lot, so that is what is important. So I am just going to tell you about them in the order I read them, pretty much, and we'll just go from there because this is going to be a chill wrap up. I don't feel like filming, but we're here, so we'll just talk about them. So the first book I'm going to mention is the one that I did not finish, and I actually got a decent chunk through. I got 89 pages through this. But it's just boring. I'm not gonna lie, it's a very slow burn. And this is about a girl named Violet, and she goes to this boarding school for girls, and she ends up meeting a group of friends and learning that the school was grounds for a witch. And so that's all the farther I got. I would really like to finish this book because it is an ARC that I received, and it comes out in October. But like I said, it was just so slow going that I knew if I just kept reading this that I would probably not have gotten to as many books this month. And then Contemporary-thon happened, so I set this aside for that. So we might revisit, we might not. And then a book that I don't have with me because I borrowed it from the library is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, and I read this to participate in the Raven Cycle read-along, I think, that was going on. Hosted by some lovely people on BookTube. Unfortunately, even though I would like to continue on with the series, throughout the month, The Dream Thieves, the second book in the series, was borrowed from the library and was late to the person who had it before, didn't renew it or anything, and they had it overdue. So if it ever comes back to the library, I am going to continue on with the series, but unfortunately, because someone checked it out, I didn't get to finish the quartet this month. But I did read The Raven Boys, and this follows our main character Blue and 4 boys. We have Gansey, Adam, Noah, and Ronan. Wow, I love Ronan and I missed that. And there's some magical elements in here. Blue is the daughter to a psychic, and she lives with a family of psychics, and there's just some spooky kind of stuff going on in the town that they live in, and I really enjoyed it. I think that this is a polarizing book because of the content in it, and I think that some people might have a hard time understanding the concept and everything, but I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it a 4 stars, and I really liked some of the twists in there. I liked Blue as a character. I liked the Raven Boys. I thought they were all very unique and awesome. The ending of the book had me really wanting to pick up The Dream Thieves, but like I said, I didn't get a chance to pick it up because stupid person at the library didn't bring it back. But I am definitely going to continue on with the series. I was pleasantly surprised. I was afraid that I wasn't going to like it because from what Lala over at Books and Lala has told me, because she loves this series, it wasn't something I thought that I would be super interested in, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I did, like I said, give it 4 stars. So I would definitely recommend it. But I know that some people are not going to like it as much because it is a book that might be hard to understand, and especially if you read the audiobook, I've heard that it can be kind of confusing, so that's just one thing to consider if you're going to read it. Then we have 4 books that I'm actually this adds up to 8. We have 4 books that I'm actually not going to talk about, but I'm going to show you that there are 4 books here because I'm eventually going to be posting a video talking about these. But these were all my low rated books for the month. So my 1 star, 2 star, 2.5 star, and my 3 star, unfortunately. But this is for a secret TBR that I'm doing. But because these books were so bad, I had to take a break because I was getting into a reading slump. So I did end up reading 4 of them. I still have a few to go, and then I'm going to try to make a video specifically for them. So be looking out for that video if you want to figure out what some of my worst rated books of the year are so far, because I think it's going to be fun. So, but I unfortunately did not get a chance to finish that video this month just because, like I said, reading slump, and then Contemporary-a-thon happened, and those are 4 of the other 5 books that I'm going to talk about. But before I get into Contemporary-a-thon, we're going to talk about my graphic novel, which was Saga Book 3, so the most latest of the books. So this leaves off with volume 9, which is the most recent volume. And of course I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And I'm really upset that there is no more for me to read yet, because I love it. And this is just such a beautiful graphic novel, art style wise and story wise. And it's so unique. And I just love it. And I really can't talk much about this volume or this book because it is the 3rd one, but I do talk a little bit about it in my wrap up from August because I read the first 2 books in August, so you can check that video out or just go read the first volume for yourself because it's great and you really should pick it up. And then we have my Contemporary-a-thon books. My TBR originally had 6 on it, but I ended up not reading it all on Sunday because I just lost my groove for reading, so I only got to 4, but luckily all of these were 4 stars or higher, so we had a great time. And I will still be trying to read the last 2 books, hopefully the beginning of this month or just working it into this month, even though I have a lot of plans for October. I still want to get to Wilder Girls and I'll Give You the Sun because those are the other 2 on my TBR. So I'm just going to pick up and show you guys the books that I read for Contemporary-a-thon. And the first one here is actually probably one of my favorite books of the whole year. So, and one of my all-time favorites. So, we have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Obviously, if you haven't heard about this yet, I don't know where you've been because it's been all over BookTube. And I decided I wanted to read it for Contemporary-a-thon, so I bought myself a copy, and I am so glad that I did because it is just so great. We follow our main characters, Alex and Henry, and Alex is the son of the first female president, and Henry is the son of the royal family over in Wales. And originally they kind of despise each other, and what ends up happening is they cause a scene at the royal wedding, and so the president, her crew, and the royal family decide they have to fake a friendship for the public eye so that everything is fine, and stuff happens from there. This was just so wholesome and adorable, and I loved the romance and the politics and the characters and the writing style. I just loved it all, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I know this probably has some flaws, but I enjoyed it enough that I could overlook them, so I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So this is definitely one that I am excited that I read, and I definitely think you should pick up, even if you aren't a romance reader, because it was just really, really good. And like I said, it has some politics in it, so that was pretty cool. And I just love it. So I'm really glad that I read it. And then the next book we have here is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. I read this for my dark hard hitting book, and I gave this a 4 stars. I thought that it had really good representation of what it was trying to get across, which is rape and sexual assault, and dealing with past traumas, I think, is definitely prominent in here too. But this follows our main character, Mara, and she is bisexual, and so she's dealing with her relationship aspect, and she's also dealing with the fact that her twin brother Owen has just been accused of rape by her best friend Hannah. So there's a lot in this book, and this book is not even 300 pages, so there's a lot packed in here. and I think that it had a great message. It was a pretty great portrayal of what it was trying to get across. But I think that some of the scenes could have been portrayed differently. I think this could have been a little longer, actually, than sometimes, well, a lot of times that's not something you should say, but I think that it could have been a little longer to get some more info in there. I think that everything was just kind of swept along really quickly. And then we also get this portrayal, or at least I did before I read this book, that Mara and her brother are super, super close, so this is really hard for her. But I thought that there was a lack of that in here, and I think that, you know, you get the idea that they're brother and sister, so obviously, like, she wants to side with her brother, but she wants to side with her best friend. But I was expecting more of seeing their relationship, Owen and hers, and we didn't get that as much as I would have liked. So that's why I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars instead of a 5. But it was still really good, and I would still recommend you read this if you were looking for a hard-hitting novel that has some meaningful content inside of it. And then we have A Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This one was the book that I read for the beloved book pick, which this is obviously one of Chelsea's favorite books. And this follows our main character, Georgina, and she belongs to a family that is magical, but she does not have magical powers right now. I don't want to say powers necessarily, but for this sake we will. And so she's dealing with that. It's almost her 18th birthday, and every year a whole bunch of people come to their little island to watch this bird that comes every summer. And so we're dealing with that and the fact that there's some newcomers that she befriends, and that the bird is late. So we have no idea what that means, but throughout the book we unravel what that does eventually mean, and Georgina's inner conflicts and relationships, and just overall what is happening with her in this summer before she goes off to college and leaves the island for the first time. I thought that this was really written beautifully, and I did like Georgina as a character, but I had a slight disconnect from it. It wasn't something that I just attached myself to and loved. Don't get me wrong, I did give it 4 stars. I did super enjoy it. It was really short, it was quick to get through, but I just wasn't sure about it. And this definitely gave me Ava Lavender vibes for some reason. I think it was just like the magicalness and the birdness and all that fun stuff. So I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. Still really enjoyed it, but it just was not my favorite of all time, which is okay. And then the last book that I read this month is one that I finally got to, guys, even though it's been around and hyped up for so long, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So this was for my diverse read, and I thought that this was really impactful. I understand why this is something that has caused such a buzz, and I did really enjoy it. And it was a pretty quick read for as big of a book it is. This was the biggest book I read all month, I think. Yeah, I think so. And so it had a lot in it, and I really enjoyed the writing style and the dialects, and, you know, seeing the perspective of someone who lives in a more unfortunate part of a city. And so I did really enjoy this. I did only give it 4.5 out of 5 stars though, because I didn't think it was like life-changing for me, because I've read Anger is a Gift, I've seen like The Black Klansman, and like, so I've seen stuff that like is relative to this, but I understand where it's coming from. And also there's a part in this book where our main character Star, she just doesn't seem like it's something she would actually do. So I felt a disconnect from that, from her character and what she does. So that for those reasons, that's why I brought it down. I have 0.5 star. But if you don't know what this is about our main character Star, and she witnesses one of her really good friends getting shot by a cop. So we followed the aftermath of that, and, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and all that kind of stuff. So that is what's packed in here. And if you haven't read it yet, like I hadn't read it, then I definitely think you should pick it up. It's a book that's been buzzing for a long time. So, but that's the last book that I read this month. Technically I read it before some of those, but so those are the 10 books that I read this month. I had a pretty interesting reading month overall. We had some really lows, and some really high highs. So, I mean, it was pretty good overall, I think. But what did you guys read this month? Did you participate in Contemporary-a-thon? I had daily vlogs up with lots of kitten cuteness, so if you didn't see those, I recommend checking them out because kittens are cute. And you can see my reading progress with my Contemporary-a-thon books in those. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys read, if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, and just, I guess, how your September went, because I am curious to know. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my videos in the future, like vlogs and more wrap-ups and all that fun stuff. I thank you guys again for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video, which should be my October TBR with some spooky funness. So I will see you guys then. Bye!